This video is another video in the series of the awful truth about college. This one is basically about college debt and the one mindset that can pretty much make sure that you fail in college. First, let's discuss the mindset that will cause you to fail, because it's the quickest one. It's basically, you're in your class, you're taking classes, or you have an exam coming up. And you convince yourself you're going to fail, that the subject is too difficult, or you're going to fail. You convince yourself that something's too difficult. It's going to be too difficult for you. It's just that simple. You tell yourself you're going to fail at something, you're going to fail at it. That's just, the truth. Sorry about that. That's just the sad truth. If you convince yourself you're going to fail, you're going to fail. Sorry. Tell yourself this is too hard, this is too much, you just can't do it. Then you're going to find out you can't do it. There's a lot of study guides. There's a lot, you got the Khan Academy, you got Bozeman Science and all this stuff on YouTube you can check out. There's a lot of books and study guides on the internet, Amazon.com that you could get. Now the second part, college debt. This one is going to take a little bit more time. Now, of course, you want to avoid debt. Now, first off, I'm going to tell you, avoid loans as much as you can. Do not get a loan. If you can avoid it, do it. Work while you're in college. Work while you're in college for several reasons. One, you get real world experience. That way people can't say, well, you're just college, your generation, blah, blah, blah. Because no matter what generation you are, I'm Generation X. We were called slackers. And, y'all think y'all know everything. Wait till y'all get out in the real world. Y'all slackers. Y'all going to fail, blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on. Every generation had to put up with this crap. Now you got you millennials are putting up with the same nonsense. Everybody, y'all just this and that, and the people that are saying this stuff about your generation, remember, when you point your finger at somebody, you got three pointing right back at you. Now, when they complain about your generation being called and me, and all this nonsense, and some members of your generation just do appear that way, just like my generation, because, people are people, you're always going to have people like that. You got to realize, who are your parents? Generation X and the baby boomers. So who's responsible? But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. But that's why you want to work, though. You say, well, I have a job. I know what it's like to work in the real world. That's one of the benefits. Another benefit is you don't have to. You have money that you can pay for your college and buy clothes or whatever other stuff you want to get. You want to do that. Now, you don't want to get loans if you can avoid it. Now, here's another thing. You want to get through your college career as quick as you can. You do. I understand that. I get it. You do. But really, do you have to do it in 4 years? Why not 5 or 6? I know it's like, no. Let me tell you something, though. The less classes you take, but make sure you take a full load, because, if you have a grant or scholarship, they may require you to have a certain number of credits. So take that length of credits. You try to learn as much as you can in college. Like I said before in the last video, make sure you get things on critical thinking, logic, and all this stuff. Also, I suggest you try to learn, the world's religions and debating techniques, how to write essays, all this stuff you really do need, especially the writing essays, debating, logic, and critical thinking. We all need that. We all need to improve our skills. But anyways, you don't want to take too many classes for several reasons. One, you save money, because by working, you're paying for it more. You have more money, work more hours. You have more study time. That's the biggest thing. You don't take, if certain areas is in credit hours, okay? 12 hours is full time. You take 12 hours, which is about 3 or 4 classes, depending on if you have a lab or something, Science labs, that's 4 credits. It's more study time, and you need to study. You're going to have to study your butt off in college. In the real world, there are no safe places and safe words and all that stuff. They don't exist in the real world, okay? So you're going to have to study your butt off, especially if you're going to do any STEM fields, which I highly suggest STEM. And also take some business classes, okay? But again, avoid debt. You want to avoid the debts. Now here's another problem, credit cards. Do not any circumstance unless you absolutely have to use credit cards. If you have to use a credit card, make sure that sucker can be paid off at least within 60 to 90 days. Do not use credit cards. Now here, let me tell you what's going to happen, okay? You go to a store, oh, this is $100. It ain't that bad. Let's charge that sucker. And then, let's charge this. Let's charge the meal, $7. Charge it. Let's charge this. Next thing you know, you owe thousands of dollars. And then you say, well, I already owe $5,000. What's another 20? Charge it. Charge it. Next thing you know, you $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 on your credit cards. So avoid it. It's too easy. You do not believe it, but it is easy to get trapped in credit card debt. And then you add that to your student loans, you are screwed for a very long time, okay? A very long time. Avoid using your credit cards. Avoid credit cards. I want to tell you something about, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Here's the thing about the classes. I told you to take fewer classes. Okay, you got Fred. Let's make up a couple people. You got Fred. You got Mary. They're both going to college. Fred decides he wants to get through in 4 years. He takes a full load. Doesn't work. Gets his scholarships and loans, and even charges a few stuff on his credit cards. Here's Mary. She's smart. She gets a job. Takes about the minimum for full time. Takes a year or two to graduate. Fred graduates in 4 years, gets a job. Of course, he has a lot of debt, so he has to take whatever job is available. He has no freaking choice. So he may work somewhere that does not really pay well and give good raises. And most likely that's what's going to happen because he's going to be desperate. Mary's smart. She took a little bit longer. Now, she still has some debts. She may have to get some loans, and she may have some credit card. Not much. She's smart with her credit cards. She made sure she don't owe more, maybe $1,000, $2,000. Mary can afford to take a low-paying job until she can get another job. She can do it. She can move across the country, whatever she chooses. It may take her a few more years to catch up. Let's say Fred starts at $35,000, $40,000. He ain't going to start out that much. I can promise you that. Probably 30 because he's so freaking desperate. Mary starts out at 30. He starts at 40. She starts at 30. Now, he's stuck at his job because he's in so much debt. He can't just leave. He can't just travel across the country. And he certainly now can't take more classes. Mary's making less, but after 5-10 years, she's making the same and then eventually more than Fred. Maybe a lot more. Because she's like, well, this isn't working so well. I'm going to go back to school at night and take a few more classes. Maybe get a certificate in another field and move somewhere else. Get another job. Now she's way ahead of Fred. 14 years down the line, Fred's still stuck at the same dead-end job. Maybe in his field if he's lucky. Making no money, living in a crappy apartment. No real chance of ever getting out. Mary's enjoying her life 14 years later, making $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. Maybe, she may not make that much, but most likely. So who do you want to be? Like Fred or Mary? Hopefully Mary. Do not be Fred. Do not sell yourself with student loans. Avoid loans as much as you can. If you can, avoid them altogether. I prefer for you to work if you have to. There are a lot of on-campus jobs, especially if you go to universities. I personally suggest you go to a research university, but you can also, I don't want to say that. Yeah, I do suggest you go to research university if you're going to do STEM. If you're going to do STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, go to research. Other than that, you really can go to a small college, community college or whatever, If you're going to do STEM, also try to get to know your professors. Some of them might be pricks, but most of them will be decent people. Try to avoid their ideology because they're going to try to put their ideology on you. We're all like that, We have our own belief systems, and we want other people to believe what we believe, Some of us, if I'm speaking to you, you don't agree with everything I agree with. That's fine. Actually, I prefer for you not to agree with everything I agree with because then that gets kind of boring. But some of these people, get kind of pissy about it, but that's okay. It's very rare, really, unlike what you see on TV, on the news, like how some news sites and people present it, colleges really are not as bad as they make it out to be. You don't have that many people protesting, blah, 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 this, and all that. It's not that much of that. At least not when I was in college in the 90s. And I'm working at a college, and I don't see that here. And I don't see that in the colleges around here. And I know old college I graduated from, it's not happening there. So, I don't know. But like I said, avoid the debts. Just don't use credit cards, okay? Use a debit card. Now, I don't want to say absolutely avoid credit cards. I better clarify that because I just realized something now. You got to build credit. You have to build credit. So, yeah, use your credit card, but pay it off immediately. Get credit cards that have rewards. Money, cash back, gas, whatever. Use those type of credit cards, but pay it immediately. As soon as the bill, don't overcharge it now. Charge $50, $100, something like that. That way, you have credit. That way you build credit. It shows that, hey, you can handle credit, you can pay off, you can do it without getting in debt. Because this is what happens when you're trying to buy a home and something. Let's say you have an $8,000 limit on your credit card, okay? They look at your income to debt ratio. They also look at your debt ratio versus your limit. You have $8,000 on your credit card. You owe $7,000. And they're going to look at that and say, well, this guy likes to charge up his credit cards. Or she likes to charge up her credit cards. This person might not be a good, choice for us. Now, if you owe $500, $500, hey, you can pay it off within a week, probably a month or 2 months. But always try to pay it off within 1 month, especially if you have a rewards card, or otherwise you're just canceling that reward. Always get yourself a rewards card. Only get rewards cards only and pay them off in a month. There's nothing wrong with using them once in a while because you got to build up credit. I should have clarified that. You do got to build up credit. Because I do know some people who decided, in their wisdom, never to use credit cards. Never use credit cards. Never get too many loans and stuff like that. I'm talking about, but avoid college loans. If you got to get a college loan, which again, I would avoid. Try not to get it too high. I personally would not borrow more than $10,000. Okay, 10 grand is what my opinion is the maximum you should borrow. It might be a good idea to have some student loans because again, you build up your credit history. You got to build up that credit history. You're young. Some of you are young, anyways. Another thing. Take finance classes. Buy books on personal finance, okay? Because believe me, none of us know everything. Nobody does. And you need to learn this stuff. Because nobody's going to tell you. Your professor isn't going to tell you. Your parents aren't going to tell you. Or they might be giving you some advice. And please listen to them. Probably. Depends on what their situation is, right? But really be careful of debts. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment. I'll make more series. I'm actually going to do one about the dorms, which definitely you don't want. Thanks.